welcome to Hawaii. This one's kind of a special one. A special one because I am pregnant here in Hawaii this time. I'm approaching 33 weeks. So we are getting to the final stretch. The whole time we've been here, which is about 2 weeks now, I've been taking morning dips just to get on this little routine in the ocean. I haven't done any vlogs the whole time I've been pregnant. I announced it on a vlog back in Norway. And so it's really fun to see how far everything's come and the changes that has happened since and how I feel about it. Hey guys, I thought that it was time to give pregnancy update. I am now approaching 8 months pregnant. I feel like I'll forget them after I give birth, which is still such a weird thing to say. So let's do it here in the car while Owen is in Home Depot. Let's start from the beginning. It is middle of November right now. I have known that I was pregnant since April. I had been testing my ovulation starting in February. So we had planned to get pregnant this year. Like at this time last year, we went to Bali, but Bali has Zika and Bali belly and some other things. So we definitely didn't want to get pregnant in Bali. So that was kind of like the kickoff after we got home from that. At that time, I was 36. I'm 37 now. For me, very unsure if I would be able to get pregnant right away. I don't know. I feel like they scare you at this age, acting like it's the hardest thing ever to get pregnant, when in reality apparently it's only like a 1% decrease in fertility, that if you're like a normal, like everything's good. I tried to stay not worried because I do feel like there's definitely a correlation between anxiety and worry, just the stress that you're putting on your body, and like your fertility. Even trying for 2 months, I was already getting like a little anxious. Why isn't it working right away? You know, things like that. But it's supposed to take like 6 months to a year after 35. So it was like very normal. It took us about 2 months to get pregnant, and we were on vacation when I found out. We were in Europe for 6 weeks. We were in Norway when I actually found out. I have a video about that. Maybe I'll input that here about when I found out, because it was really such a crazy thing to find out you're pregnant. It's just like a big deal in life. It's like my period's supposed to start tomorrow, so it's kind of like testing time. There's one store in this tiny town, in this like Arctic town that we're in, and it's over there. I asked the lady who works there, and she was like, oh yeah, I have one. So she got me this, and then I biked back and I'm like, dead. I told her to give this a go right now. I just looked. I'm like shaking. So I peed on it, and I like looked over and it just showed that like not pregnant line, and I was like, okay, whatever. The weird that like I have been using, because I've been testing my ovulation, and these things you like use once you're close to your period. The last 3 days, they've been like a really faint line. But I've been trying to wait till closer to my period to try this one. This is crazy. Yeah, I am apparently pregnant. Like, that's crazy. Yeah, so Owen's on top of a mountain right now. So I think maybe I'll like ride my bike over there and surprise him. Okay. Here's my little note. There's a love note I wrote you. Oh. Oh, so nice. I don't know how I nice little note. I don't know. The love note.
What? What? Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I know.
Oh. See? I told you that's why you were hungry.
I always knew I wanted kids, but actually making the decision to have them feels like such a big life change, when I love the life that me and Owen have created, and the trips we take, and how we can do everything pretty much on a whim because we both work for ourselves, and it's just been really easy. and fun. I love building my business. I just love a lot of things in my life right now. I don't know. I think the hard part about kids is that there is a clock. Like, you have to decide at some point to either have them or not. Especially in your late 30s, I mean, you just have to make the decision. That's all there is to it. And I think it's tough as a female to have to do that. So moving forward from getting pregnant, found out in Norway. After Norway, we decided to go to Iceland kind of on a whim. I never had any type of morning sickness, haven't had food cravings or like food aversions really, except for every food we ate in Iceland. It's not necessarily that like it's awful, but I just don't want to see it. In Iceland. My first taste of non-alcoholic wine. So I know a lot of people have the first trimester is like the most difficult, which I also didn't know these little tips. Like, I didn't know the first trimester is when you have morning sickness, the second trimester is when you have the most energy, and then third kind of goes back to being lethargic again. I have to say that like none of that came true for me. First trimester was breeze. We were traveling for the first 8 weeks maybe. The second trimester had lots of energy, just operated as normal. Didn't tell anyone we were pregnant until the 18th week. We told our parents. We really just wanted to keep it to ourselves for a while because it just felt very personal, I would say. I'm really happy that we kept it to ourselves that long because I think it was really special to have with us. And then after we told our parents, since we were telling them both outside of where we live, like in their hometowns, we didn't tell social media until a few days ago. So I'm at week 34. So it's like very, very late in the game. And I think there's some pros and cons of it. Like, I love that we've just had this to ourselves this whole time, especially having a lot of stuff that is online and is public. It's nice to have a private moment. It's just like our little growing baby. On the other hand, I think that it can be really helpful to have friends that have advice or maybe know of things around that could help you out while you're pregnant. So I think that would be a benefit to telling people. Also, TikTok is crazy helpful. Like, you can get any information you want online these days. So I think it's very different than it used to be. So I had a pretty normal summer and I don't feel like I really grew until this month. Like, we're in Hawaii right now. And prior to this, we went to the Mediterranean for a month, I think, and traveled all around there. So I was like somewhere in my second trimester and everything went well. And then we came to Hawaii for these weeks 30 to 34. And I feel like I've grown so much, like belly wise, while we've been here. It's the first time that I've like totally felt pregnant. Also thinking that I still have 5 weeks to go. That's a lot of belly still to have. So some things that I didn't realize about pregnancy is once you get pregnant, you have your prenatal doctor's appointments. Like, I didn't know how much I was gonna have to go. And when I got home the first time from Europe at 12 weeks, I was back in Jackson by myself. Owen was still traveling. I couldn't get into an OBGYN because there's only one in Jackson now and they were full and busy. So I went to this clinic that they have in town for people who basically don't have services. They were so sweet to me. Like, they could get me in, show me an ultrasound, make sure everything's going good. So at 12 weeks, I had an ultrasound with them, which was so nice, because it just confirmed that I was pregnant for sure, and also that the baby looked like it was good. After that, I got into the other OB in town, which then sets up your appointments like very structured, and you have them, I think, once a month, and then once every 2 weeks, and then once every week. I think I'm at the once every week point right now, but I have been gone for a month, so I've like skipped out on a bunch of them. But the other thing is you're also paying for them. Like, I've paid a bunch so far. I'm hoping that insurance kind of comes in eventually, but I don't think it will. I just found out this morning my insurance is not covering the birth. For some reason, the health insurance I have was grandfathered in before all these changes they made in like the last 10 years, because I've had it since 2013. Like, I pay monthly, I pay quite a bit. Apparently they just don't cover birth. I didn't really find that anywhere. Had to call in this morning, so now we've been on the phone all morning with insurance and trying to figure out what our options are. Seem to be pretty much zero options. Once again, insurance is so frustrating. I had quite the frustration with insurance last year when I got my IUD out. I did a whole TikTok series that went viral about it because it was just such a frustration. I never liked the IUD, and then when I got it out, they couldn't get it out the first appointment. They couldn't find it the second appointment, and then I had to go to surgery, like full on anesthesia, everything, surgical removal, which went good. But then it came back with all of these bills when I thought it was going to be covered. Ended up that I got it covered, but I really should have paid attention to my insurance then, why they tried to not cover it, because then I think I would have seen like why they aren't covering my birth now. Just adding some stress to this last month of pregnancy, I guess. Besides all that, we found out at our ultrasound appointment at, I think, 18 weeks, what the sex was of the baby, which was really exciting. I actually thought that I didn't want to find out what the sex was before I got pregnant. And then once I was pregnant, I realized that I really wanted to know, because I didn't want to think one way the entire time, especially since I'm an artist. I wanted to design the room so that it was either, you know, boy or girl centric, because I'm just like not about the like unisex bland colors. I'm going to make it very bright and bold. We found out, and then when I went to visit my family back in Ohio, I told my best friend, and she helped us do this surprise balloon game, which I'll insert right here. That did not work. We tried to do red and blue balloons, and they all just turned purple, and some of them broke, and we were trying to guess how many.
Is it just Oh, okay. What do you think it is?
It's a girl.
Is it a girl?
Is it a girl? Boy.
Girl.
It's a boy.
So I totally thought that it was going to be a girl. We finished the game. Everybody thought it was a girl. And then I made my little brother clarify with the little note card that we kept. He was like, no, it's a boy. And I was like, there's no way. And it is. So it's a boy. Owen's very excited that it's a boy. I think that was his like deep down wish, but he didn't want to say it. But I know it's true. I thought it was going to be a girl in the depths of my soul, so it took me a little bit to rearrange my mindset. Now I am prepared for a little boy, but we still haven't thought of a name, so we have like kind of a long way to go in that regard. We've talked about it so many times and we just can't come up with one that we're obsessed with. Why is this so hard? I had like a lot of girl names, and there's a few boy names that I like, but it's so daunting to give a name, because you have to keep that name forever. And I already get tired of things in like a year. So I need something that I'm gonna like for the long haul. I think at this point, I gained 30 pounds. I believe I started at 150 and I'm 5'8", and I think I'm up to 180. I gained quite a bit of weight rapidly, which really surprised me when like the boobs grow and the weight comes on right away. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna gain 75 pounds. But then it kind of slowed down. Can end up under 200. That will be good. I foresee myself ending up at like 190, which is crazy. Like, I've just been the same weight most of my adult life. And I think it's one of the things that was hardest to come to terms with right away, was gaining this weight rapidly and like the changing body rapidly. I think I'm getting more used to it now, although it is kind of a jump scare when I look at myself in the mirror. That aspect of it was interesting. I won't say it was like bad or good, just to me it was really weird process to go through. Some of the best tips that I think that I learned this whole time. Number one, I think that eating a good diet makes such a difference. Like I said, I haven't been sick this whole time. I felt phenomenal. I've had tons of energy. Like, I haven't really felt effects of pregnancy at all, except waking up in the morning. I do feel like I have some acid reflux, like from laying flat, and it's just kind of uncomfortable to sleep because I used to sleep on my stomach. So I guess that would be my little listing. I think eating a healthy diet can be so helpful because you're getting the nutrients you need. And I have this theory that when you aren't getting the nutrients you need, that's when you crave something, or that's when you just feel sick because your body's not getting everything that it needs for you and the baby. Take it for what it's worth, but I think that it's really worth looking into your diet, trying to make it as good as possible. I am taking some prenatals, but I forget most of the time, but I'm taking Ritual. And then the other thing is I'm currently in the middle of a book about hypnobirthing, which I think is so helpful and something that everyone should do. I was really, really scared of giving birth at the beginning of this pregnancy. And like always throughout my life, I thought that it would just be like a horrible thing. And I read one book on hypnobirthing, and I'm not even finished. And it has totally changed my perspective on the whole thing. One of my best friends even told me that after she had her first, and it was a bad experience, read a hypnobirthing book, and her second and third were just so much better. It's basically just about using breath work, the power within, to birth your baby instead of being scared and going into it stressed, having this experience that it has to be like a stressful situation like it looks like on TV.
Like any maternity pictures, this whole pregnancy, I think when you're in it, it doesn't feel like you're growing that much. And all of a sudden, you have this. I have not that much to go. It's feeling pretty good. Point is, I just haven't taken many photos, and so I think I want to do like a beach little maternity sesh and see if Owen can take some good pictures of me. We'll see how much patience he has for that. But my plan is to maybe wear like this orangey linen over top of my swimsuit. And I found this Pinterest photo that I really loved that had kind of this outfit going on. So I would like to do something with this, like black and white, but we'll see. We did our little maternity photo shoot tonight and got the best sunset. Turned out really cute. I'll show you the pictures we got. Now we're gonna enjoy the rest of the sunset. Hi guys, I thought it was the perfect time for an update how my pregnancy is going. Today I'm at week 38 and I'm supposed to be having the baby next week. Oh, it's crazy. Just like a week to go. Christmas is next Tuesday. So today is Sunday. We've got a week and then Christmas next Tuesday. And then I am scheduled for my C-section on Friday. So in the time that I've talked to you last, I found out that my baby was breached. I went in for my appointment where they reach up and try to feel the head, and she couldn't feel the head. So then took me to the ultrasound room and told me it was breached. Apparently only like 3% of babies are breached. So it's actually not that common, but I guess by week 36, your baby is supposed to have turned its head down. That's kind of one of the reasons you peel out at night, because it's like pressing on your bladder. I haven't had to pee too much at night. Sometimes it's 0, sometimes it's 1 time. And so that's probably the reason, but I do feel a ton of pressure like right here. And that's like right where the head is, right here. So that's the thing that I'm dealing with. So if I stand, this is kind of a new thing in like the past 2 weeks, I think, because the head is probably getting pretty big. But if I stand for longer than an hour, it's kind of painful just in that area. All in all, my pregnancy has been, I feel like, so easy compared to a lot of people's that I talk to. And a lot of people seem so surprised how easy it was. So I actually made a note of some things that I did that I think contributed to having such a positive pregnancy experience. Before I get into those, I'll just give you an update of what is happening until my pregnancy. So my parents are coming into town on Tuesday. They got their flight originally then because my due date was the 28th and they just wanted to be here in case it came early. But now that I'm scheduled for the C-section, they gave me the choice if I wanted the 27th or Christmas Eve. And I really didn't want to be in the hospital over Christmas. So I thought it would be really nice to celebrate Christmas, then celebrate the baby coming, and hopefully feel decent by the new year. So that's kind of the hope. I'll be having the baby here in town in Jackson, Wyoming. So the hospital is literally just down the street. It probably takes 5 minutes to drive there, so that's super convenient. Let's go over some of these things. Number one is I kept working out. So I did Form workouts this whole time. Form has an online app that I subscribe to, and they had a prenatal and they also have postnatal workouts too. My last big activity was mountain bike ride at 20 weeks. I did a hike in the snow maybe 2 weeks ago, so that was probably like the biggest thing that I've done since. We also hiked to get our Christmas tree in the snow in the backyard. We live on a mountain. And then I like taking walks, so I've been trying to do walks if I'm doing nothing else that day. Number two is eating well-rounded, healthy meals. And I think this maybe is the biggest contributing factor to everything because I'm very serious about what I eat, foods that I put into my body at any time. But during pregnancy, I definitely looked even harder at what I was putting into my body. I didn't make too many changes. So if you're not like really into what you're eating or you don't look at the ingredients, a lot of them can make a difference on how you feel, especially if you're having heartburn or not sleeping well. I think looking at your diet can be a huge indicator of how you're gonna feel throughout pregnancy. One of the most important things is always starting your day off on the right note. So I always make sure that I have well-rounded breakfast because I don't want to just be drinking coffee on an empty stomach or spike my blood sugar like a big glass of orange juice by itself. Making sure that I'm getting the fat and the protein in every breakfast, I think starts the day off on a really good note. Positive mindset, that would be my number three. Having a positive mindset throughout pregnancy can make such a huge difference in everything because it can be really easy to get stressed out on little things that happen throughout it. And that's not to say that I haven't been stressed out in like little things that have happened throughout the year. But I've always maintained like a really positive attitude and known that I wanted this to be a positive experience. So many people have done this and I can do this too. Like going into anything, if you go into something thinking about it in a really positive way, you're probably gonna have a better experience than if you've been dreading it or thinking about it in a really negative light. Number four is educating myself with books and podcasts. This has been a big one because I did not look up any pregnancy stuff before I was pregnant. So I was pretty clueless. I did grow up with a lot of kids. We had foster kids in my house growing up. And so I did having kids around and little kids, but I was not aware of the whole pregnancy and labor and listening to podcasts about specific topics. Even as little as listening to a podcast by a founder of a prenatal, like has made a big difference because it gives me that much more information about little pieces of different parts of pregnancy and makes me feel a lot more confident going into everything. And I think that's helped with maintaining a positive mindset. Number five, maintaining my same routine of travel and work, which I've tried to do the best I can. I work for myself as an artist, did a little less than I would have, but it was more focused and in preparation for what I felt like next year was going to be. Travel wise, we traveled a lot this year, probably half the time I was pregnant. So I think continuing to do the travels and going to new places has kept my spirits high and allowed me to kind of feel like normal this whole time. Number six is recognizing stress. I think it's really important to recognize when you are stressed and whether that means you need to take like a nap. I'm not a big napper at all, so I think I've only taken like 1 or 2 naps this whole time. One of the things that I do is whenever I'm feeling stressed, I will typically tell my husband about it. I've also told him that I would like him to ask me how I'm feeling throughout this journey because coming along with this pregnancy, like you're feeling so many different things than you usually do. The people around you don't know what to ask you. I told Owen from the get-go, like I really wanted him to ask how I was feeling on a deeper level so that he can kind of understand the changes that are happening to me and how they're impacting my day to day. And so that helps me deal with stress. And then I think the workouts really help as well. Just making a list of things that can help for you, whether that's like they said, sleep or meditations are a good one. Things that will calm you down and put you in a good place. Number 7 was reading about hypnobirthing. I know this sounds really weird and not something I probably would have jumped at myself. And I found it to be so enlightening, especially as a person who I've always kind of been freaked out by the idea of birth. And to think that I thought that at the beginning and now what I know has changed my mindset so much. And I have to say it was all because of reading that book. which described basically how a birth can be naturally a great experience and how women are built for this. And I think personally, I loved learning about how a woman's body can do all of these things. It's like magic. It's so wild. Getting curious about how a baby comes out even. Like, it changed my mindset so much, because knowing that the processes that your body can do on its own, and the hormones and all of the different types of adrenaline that it creates in order to make these processes happen are so interesting. I think today it's so easy to just look at modern medicine and be like, okay, I can get an epidural and I can get Pitocin and all these medicines in order to make the process do what it's supposed to do. But your body can also like create all of those hormones and chemicals inside of you do what it's supposed to do. More interesting, if you read the book yourself or any type of hypnobirthing book, I think it'll make you feel really empowered as a woman to know all of the behind the scenes of what's happening during your pregnancy, because it definitely did for me and changed everything. Number 8, still drinking coffee and also doing my nutritional research. One of my first doctor's appointments, the doctor was telling me all these things I couldn't have, and I was like, this just sounds so old school. And I ended up looking up stuff, and like, for instance, I looked up cheese because they said I couldn't have soft cheeses, and I looked it up, and actually all the cheeses in the US have to be pasteurized for like 60 days or something, so you can eat most soft cheeses. I mean, obviously these are all personal things that you can choose to do for yourself, and whether you want to or not, like, I don't care what you do. I think that a lot of foods are actually good. Why give up really healthy foods and supplement with something that's not so great? So my take on it is, it's like such a small percentage of making me sick. Like, I'm probably still eating it. 9 is only get advice from people I look up to. I really decided at the beginning that I didn't want to get too much advice from people, and we didn't end up telling people that we were pregnant until 20 to 30 weeks. So they didn't have too much time to give me input, which was probably good, because I really don't like micromanagement. Like, if I'm gonna ask advice, I really have to trust you. On social media, it's just like a jumble of people's opinions or headlines. So important to do your own research and only get advice from people who you've seen them do something and you really admired it. And the last one is getting an Oura ring. I got an Oura ring probably like halfway through, maybe in my 3rd trimester. I'm not sure, but I love it. I will say I want the pregnancy things to be a little bit better on it. It takes into account that I am pregnant, but it doesn't give like a well-rounded response about it. And I wish that it was like a little bit more honed in. And I think they're working on that, because they're working on the ovulation part of it. It's helped me know how rested I am for the next day. Like, for instance, today I woke up and it told me that I should only rest today. It was right. Like, I slept horrible. And then it like gives you activity goals, and they're not too intense, and you can set them how you want them. It tells you how you slept. So all of these things are really beneficial if you're into wellness and into feeling your best. And I definitely am, especially at this point. So those are my 10 tips for having a really positive pregnancy. And honestly, I feel like if you would do like somewhat of those 10 things, like, it'll make these 9 months so much better, because I've had just such a great experience. The last thing was, I mentioned that I'm getting a C-section. I was really excited to do a natural birth after I read the hypnobirthing book, because I was so interested to see what the human body can do. Just feel empowered. People have asked me if I would be trying to prove something by not taking meds right away. And for me, that's not the case at all. Like, I couldn't care less what people are thinking. I think this is a very personal thing, but I think it's so cool to see what the body can actually do. So anyway, I was really excited about that when I found out I had to do a C-section because of the positioning of the baby. Kind of readjust my mindset. I don't think it will be as magical of an experience, mostly because I really hate anything surgical, and I was born via C-sections, and I think maybe that contributes to the reason why I'm not stressed out about the whole C-section thing, and I think it's totally fine.
Welcome to our final day of just us two. How do you feel about it?
Well, I hope you like snow, because it is dumping out.
It just started snowing so much, and it's supposed to snow barely 1.5 feet by tomorrow. Got a little 24-hour countdown until delivery. So we're getting our last little coffee shop, which is the two of us. And no baby.
Last quiet coffee.
The rest of the day, I'm just trying to finish up all of these like little last minute things I want to get done while I don't have a baby. It's so hard to know how much time I'll have afterwards. I'm making some bone broth. We had a prime rib for Christmas yesterday, so I took the bones from that, putting them in the Instant Pot with carrot, celery, onion, some vinegar, pepper, and salt. Then I'm gonna do a second batch after that's finished. Everything's just a little bit unorganized from Christmas yesterday, so I want to organize that. I want to make a few more food things because if I don't use the food, nobody really does. Just like getting the house in order. There's just a couple things. Here's our stroller. I'm really excited about it. I'm just packing my hospital bag. The nursery is looking ready and cute. I just remembered that I need to pack stuff for myself. I do have a robe from Lake that's nice and soft. Owen got me a nice one for Christmas, but it's like too nice for the hospital. And then I packed the baby some outfits. I obviously had to pack a couple more outfits for myself, but the baby's getting this like magnetic, cute little poofy thing. Perfect for the snowstorm that's going on. 3 outfits, all ski related. I think they're just so cute. This is the first one. Just this little animal skiing, but this Magnetic Me company is, I mean, like, that's so amazing. Magnets, I love it. When I went to fashion school, I used magnets a lot to do my closures, and it's fun to see a company actually doing that. This one's Burt's Bees, and it's just like ski lodge. So that one, and then this one's like more of a 2-piece, just with some skiers on it. So we have quite the theme, but the ski baby is going to be a little ski baby coming out. Surprise, surprise. Also has vintage skiers on it. I'm going to fill this, but I want to vlog a little bit during the time at the hospital. So I have some batteries and I'll have a little other electronics in there. My long plug for my phone. Hats for the baby. My little toiletry kit. So I'm just bringing a few things because I saw online that some people said the hospital stuff isn't amazing. So my mom homemade this tallow. So I'll bring a jar of that. That can be used like for so many things. Owen got me this. This is like a company out of Idaho. They make like the best chapsticks. I have it on right now. Chewing gum. The nurse said this helps with gas after your C-section. Apparently gas is a really big problem with C-sections. Deodorant cream. It smells like mint. It's like amazing. Little Seed Farm. I have a big one here at home. A little mixture of essential oils to stay healthy. Just bringing like minimal makeup. I've got like eyebrow shimmer and kind of like a foundation cream. And then I'll stick like my toothbrush in here. I've got a granola bar. I'm gonna stick more snacks in here and a couple more outfits. And I think I'll be good. Lucky me, I'm only 5 minutes from the hospital, which is also good since this snowstorm's going on. I think if I was further from the hospital, I would maybe be a little bit more prepared, but I know that Owen or anyone can bring me stuff at any time, so I'm not really that worried. I have to go to the hospital at 5:30 a.m. and then prep takes 2 hours, and then at 7:30 is when the C-section starts, and it's supposed to take 2 hours. I don't really like blood or cuts or needles or any of that stuff. I don't think I'm really gonna watch. Owen loves all that stuff, so I'm sure he'll maybe get some footage of it. I'm not sure how much I'll record, but I do want to show just the process. I don't think there's really as much info about C-sections and how they go these days. So I'm like very interested in the whole process and the recovery because I like don't really know what to expect. They told me that I could stay either 2 or 3 nights, and a lot of people are suggesting to stay longer. I don't really like being in a hospital, so I don't know. Maybe I'll like the relaxation and not having to like come home and do everything, but we'll see how it goes. Good morning. It is officially time to give birth. And we're gonna look cute while doing it. So hopefully the hospital lighting is good. I slept like 4 hours last night, which I feel like was pretty good. I think it's more than Owen slept.
And now I'm just listening to some pump up music and we are ready to go. It's 5:06 in the morning. We have to be there at 5:30 to get prepped and surgery starts at 7:30. See you there.